Hello everybody and welcome to another exciting, fun-filled, expeditious episode of Radiorama, where, as the name implies, I show you how to work on many radios and other stuff that happens to run on glowing vacuum tubes. And today we have a Zenith. Does it still have, yes, model J6W15W, I'm assuming W means white painted bakelite cabinet. Do not know its working condition. Right off the bat, I can tell probably the tuning indicator is, I hope it just fell down in here. But we'll see. I don't know if it works or not. I'm going to go ahead and fire it up. That's not good. The pilot lamp was kind of flickering, but I think that is a neon. Well, I don't see any glowing tubes. I think the switch is gumming because the light's flickering, so won't be able to test it. I'll have to take it out of the cabinet. Okay, I can see no one's been in here for a long time. 6 tubes, probably a little more sensitive. Got a note taped in here, or a receipt. Looks like, I can't read what that ink says. It says a 35W4, I'm assuming that was replaced on 11/20/1965. So that probably means this guy was replaced. There's also this loose screw here, which is a little, that's weird. What's that doing in there? I don't think that goes to this radio, because there's these 2 screws that hold the chassis in. So let's pull that chassis and see what the situation is with the switch. Okay, well, luckily here's the indicator, and it looks like the tuning condenser works fine. It's just the string that goes to here is broken. There's a rubber surround that goes glued to the inside of here. That's come loose, so I'll have to glue that back in. Not a big deal. Let's look underneath. It's all original. It's not surprising, being a Zenith. It's not a neon bulb. Actually, it's a regular number 47. So I'm going to squirt some WD-40 into that, see if I can loosen it up, because I think the switch is stuck. All right, let's try this again. Maybe it's the bulb. That's weird. Of course, I'm doing this one-handed, which is stupid. Let me put the phone down a second. Hold on. I'll get back in there. All right, let's see if it was. Ooh, nice intermittent short somewhere. That's great. All right, well, right off the bat, we're going to have to do some sluicing. There is probably a loose connection in this chassis. All right, I tried cleaning the switch again, and that did exactly nothing. So yeah, it's real strange. So I'm going to poke around. Ooh. Seems like it reacts when I touch something in this area. At least it did. You know, this is weird. I haven't had an intermittent problem like this ever. Well, I mean, no, I haven't, not ever, but this is really bizarre. Is it a tube? Man. This is very perplexing. Could be a cold solder joint. Maybe what I'll start doing is I don't know. You know, I should be smart. I'm going to test the switch, see if it's actually getting continuity. Okay, again, let's be smart about this. I want to see if the switch is actually... Well, now it's not going off. And the tubes are lighting up. No sound. Except for my annoying multimeter. That's super not promising. No audio. Well, 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 I believe maybe the output transformer on this is bad. I'm going to do a quickie check on that by alligator clipping one in, see if I get any noise out of the speaker, and if I do, not a big deal. I can replace it with this. Alright, still no sound. Next thing to do is test tubes. A shorted rectifier would definitely do something like that. Seems these guys feel hot. Shorted cap can do that too. And you should definitely test them. They're going to be replaced as well. I got this guy coming off the output tube. Or is that the rectifier? The rectifier at the end looks to have shot out its end. But let's check the tubes. A lot of people will go down these rabbit holes and then won't do the simplest things first. Well, right off the bat, 12 AT6 is very sick. Barely registers anything. I'm not sure if that's what's causing no sound to come out, but it's not going to work right with the tube that messed up. So that needs to be replaced, bare minimum. Well, well, well. 4 of the 6 tubes were bad. Like they barely make a blip on my TV7 here. That said, I don't have confidence that even if they were weak, that I wouldn't at least hear something out of the speaker, because the output tube was good. Should be hearing at least a hum. Yeah, it's still pretty silent. Oh, wait a minute. I think I hear static on that speaker. Okay, we got audio. So now it's time to recap this thing, because probably the electrolytics are shot or something. Okay, well, I'm a little bit suspicious about this electrolytic. Not sure if you see that. See, it looks like a piece of rat shit. That's the innards of the electrolytic oozing out. So that means that it's swollen up inside and it squirted that out. So that there's a chance that capacitor is very much gone. I usually only test these old capacitors if I'm just curious about something, but they all need to be replaced. There's two values inside this can, 80 microfarads and 40 microfarads at 150 volts. The square shape is our 80, triangle shape is our 40, and there's our triangle shape, so that means this lug is our square. That's our 80, so I'm going to replace, I mean, there's so little going on in here. I'm just going to go for broke here. I'm going to replace the electrolytics, then we'll replace all these paper caps. These can't be trusted either. The one that we need to replace with a different value is this one. This is the chassis grounding capacitor, meaning that that's the other side of the AC line, and it's imperative that you replace it with the right type, and we'll get into that in a little bit. Some of these other capacitors that look kind of leaky, I kind of wonder if they're shorted. You have a shorted cap, that can kill your audio for sure. Kill your radio signal, you can kill everything. So you should replace all of them. Alright, so I just shotgun shelled the whole thing. So we can remove capacitors out of the equation. Oops, it'd help if I turn my handy dandy isolation transformer back on. There we go. Alright, now and we're off to the races, folks. Will it work? I don't know. I always don't trust that anything will work that I work on, so I'm going to guess it's not going to work, and there's going to be some other annoying problem that I need to figure out. But who knows? Well, bummer. No noise. No audio. Well, that's just too bad. Wonder what it could be. Time to do some diagnostics. Well, I'm going to admit something hyper embarrassing, which is I forgot to replace the second electrolytic. Replace everything else, but not that one, so jury's not out on whether or not that was a problem, because half the electrolytics are still in the circuit. Okay, well, the problem, I decided to, you know, for shits and giggles, let me try putting the transformer back in there, and I did. And that's the problem. Got no antenna, but that radio now works, but I have to replace the output transformer. Alright, well, this is sometimes when you have to get creative. Got the old transformer off. Replacement's missing its mounting stuff. So what I did is I roughened this up really good. That's going to go there, and I'm going to use JB Weld, which will stick anything together, and then on top of that I'll have a zip tie that runs through and over, and that will be how we secure this thing. I've used JB Weld to fix miraculous things, like the time I accidentally drilled through the exhaust port. I can't remember, I think there was the carburetor mounted to the side of our tractor's crankcase, and I drilled through it into the crankcase, and I stuffed the hole with JB Weld. Still running. Okay, truth time. We've got the antenna connected. I know this looks really jerry-rigged, but it'll work. We've got it JB welded and zip tied down. I put some glue under the zip tie. Ain't going anywhere. So let's bring it up and see if it comes to life and we actually pick up radio. Please. I remember when I saw this thing, I was like, it looks pristine. It'll be so easy.
And New England, with Truth for Life Bible teacher Alice.
It's a cosmetic problem. It can also be dangerous. Even a small...
Few those prayer attentions, please.
Sure thing, Father. Charlotte from Woodbridge, Virginia is requesting prayers for her mother, Rachel.
So much religious crap on AM radios. I don't know. Whatever. Whatever floats your boat. So good. We have basically the radio electronics part done. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this chassis outside and use the leaf blower and my little paintbrush to get all the dust out, because I don't know, I don't like dirty chassis. Okay, what I tend to do is I use this huge old Purdy brush that I've had for many years. And it looks like I got some WD-40 on the chassis when I was trying to free up that switch. But whatever. Shit happens. And I get my leaf blower. Now it's a lot cleaner. I'll take it inside and wipe off the chassis with some paper towels. Alright, well I did clean it up. It's a very clean chassis actually. It's really disappointing that the output transformer is bad. Because now it's not, you know, it's not going to look perfectly original when someone gets into it. But it's going to work. Now what we need to do next is oil this tuning condenser with this zoom spout oil. Now, I never really looked at the package, and it says like telescoping spout reaches everywhere. It sounds threatening, but what we want to do is get the bearing in the front there, as well as the bearing in the back. I mean, I made fun of it, but it is very handy. Like it literally does get everywhere. So if there's any zoom spout engineers, I'm sorry for making fun of you. Then you're going to get the back of this, and then I'm going to get a little bit on the inside behind the shaft because I don't want to get any on the string. And it already feels like exactly 10,000% better. Sometimes you have to work it back and forth quite a bit because you've got old solidified grease in those ball bearings, and so you need to work the new synthetic oil in there. That synthetic oil is never going to harden either. So there we go. And now obviously what we need to do is restring this so that it turns. In fact, while we're in here, should probably oil. I'm trying to see where it turns. Ah, okay, I'm gonna get it right here. Whoa, that's a lot. But that'll work itself in via capillary action. You want everything to move real smoothly so there's no stress on the user when they're using the tuning dial, or the tuning knob rather. So let's reattach that string. Okay, so we got this restrung so that the indicator does its indicating. Yay! Whee! So I think I'm done with the electronics for tonight. I think I'm going to do is start working on the cabinet. It could use some waxing for sure, even though it's very clean. Okay, next stage. Wax the cabinet. It's in very good shape to start with, but I'm going to make it look even more snazzy. I'm going to use this Meguiar's cleaner wax. It's just a Carnauba plant-based wax, probably with some other lovely chemicals in it. In fact, I think it says it's flammable or something like that. Let's see. I don't remember, but works good. It smells like bananas. Does a great job. And I'm going to use some old rags to apply and remove the wax, and we will probably remove some of the micro blemishes and return a lot of the shine. Yeah, welcome to day number 2 of working on the Zenith, and yesterday was rather fruitful. I was able to get the electronics up and going, and I was able to clean up and polish up the cabinet. It's a very nice color. It's kind of a bone white. That's what my wife called it anyway. And meanwhile, the JB weld is hardened, so that's not going to go anywhere. That's good. I need to glue this foam back in. At least I think that's what it is. It's very fragile, but it's still squishy. I'm assuming that's maybe for acoustical reasons. I don't know. It'd probably work without it, but I'm going to glue it in there just the same because it was in there for a reason. And then we're going to add the oh-so-famous audio input, which this thing already has. It already has an on-off phono switch and a phono input. So all I'm going to do is run a cable into that original input, but we're going to run it through an isolation transformer. Now, we'll get into that in just a little bit, but first let me glue this surround back in. All right, so that's glued back in. So we can set the cabinet aside and turn our attention to the chassis again. All right, so let's install this audio input. It's going to be a little more simple this time because this one already has a switch to turn the audio off and on. We are going to install this isolation transformer, and it's basically a wall wart. So imagine, you know, the primary side is 110 volts in, 120 volts actually, and then the output would be 12 or 6 volts. I use 12 volts for the output on the secondary for typical AA5s. For older sets from the 30s that don't have as much gain, I'll use a 6 volt, so 120 to 6 volt. And what we're going to do is run the audio through the secondary. I know that seems weird. We're going to put the right and left channels through these two 33 ohm resistors, and then our negative will go here to the audio, and then our primaries will go to either side of the phono input here. I'm going to need to drill a little hole here for the audio cable to come through, and then we'll install this rubber grommet and tie a knot in the cable with a little glue so that if you tug on it, it's not going to cut itself on the edge of that metal, which would be unfortunate. It'd kill the audio and possibly make the owner feel a little bit tingly if they touch that cable. And that's, again, why we're installing this isolation transformer, to remove that possible electrical hazard. Okay, well, here is the audio system installed. We have our cable coming in through this grommet, and then that goes to the secondary side of the isolation transformer, and then our primaries go to either side of the RCA input. We have our little Bluetooth adapter here. You can buy these on Amazon for like 10 bucks. So I've got the switch turned over to phono. Of course, it's going to sound a lot better back when it's in that cabinet, especially with that has that rubber baffle in there. I'm assuming that creates a little bit of bass. Last thing I'm going to do is get out some glue. I like to put a little glue in that grommet hole so that won't move around, or someone can't push it through. That also helps reinforce it a little bit. I think I want to try to glue some washers on this back panel. Usually what I'll do is I'll glue them on and then see if I can do a fit. I want to hold that back end better. It's not critical because we don't have a switch to turn the audio off and on like I typically have to add, because there's already one here on the chassis. You know what? I think that rubber stuff in there certainly did something, because it certainly sounds a heck of a lot bassier now that it's back in there. So, anyway, I don't know. Some of you audiophile people could probably tell me, well, duh. This thing turned out really, 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 really freaking nice. My wife, every once in a while, even though she's seen a 10 billion zillion radios, she said, can we keep it? And I'm like, I don't know. I have to ask the museum people if they'll let me buy it or not, but it's a decision made by committee. Either we keep it for the collection, or it goes to auction, or it goes to one of our sales. And if it goes to one of our sales, then someone else needs to price it besides me, and then I would pay full price. But either way, it'll make someone very happy, either in a museum, our museum, or in someone's home, not mine, or my home. All good. Anyway, thanks so much for watching. And I had a few people make some comments, and I feel kind of bad about it. They said, you know, you curse too much in your videos, and it's true, I really do, and I'm sorry for that. I'm really sorry if anyone gets offended. It's not my intention. I'll try to do better in the future. Maybe I should put a warning in the front that says, like, I curse a lot, so bear with me. But anyway, that's the end of this episode. Until the next time a radio comes across the workbench, I'll see you guys later. Bye.